I want to tell you a story. It started out rather gradually. I would walk into a room and look at my kids and say, "Can you turn the TV down, please?" They wouldn't move. So I'd say it a little louder. "Can you turn the TV down, please?" Eventually, of course, moms, we'd go over and turn the TV down ourselves. And then I started noticing it more and more. My husband and I had been at a party for about 3 hours, and I was just ready to go. And I looked around, and he was over in the corner talking to a friend of his. So I walked up, and I stood there, and he kept on talking, and talking, and talking, and talking, and talking, and talking. That's when I realized it. He can't see me. I'm invisible. I'm invisible. I was walking my daughter Juniper to school one day, and this beautiful woman was walking down the hallway, and she said, "Hi, Junie, who is that you have with you?" And my littlest looks up and says, "Nobody." I mean, granted, she's 5, but nobody. Some friends of ours had gathered together, and we were celebrating the return of a friend of ours. She was coming home from England, an amazing trip that she had taken. And she was going on and on and on about the hotels and the food and all the wonderful things she saw. And here I was standing there. I put my makeup on real quick in the car. I was wearing an old dress that recently my daughter Allie told me looked like something from a potato sack factory. And I put my unwashed hair up in a ponytail. I was feeling pretty pathetic. I was looking pretty lousy, feeling pretty pathetic. And I looked over, and Janice walked up. She said, "Here, I got you something. The Great Cathedrals of Europe." It was a book. I didn't understand. And then I read her inscription. Sorry. "In admiration of what you are building when no one sees." No one knows who built the great cathedrals. Page after page, you scroll down, and it says the same thing over and over. Builder unknown, unknown, unknown. There's a story in here about one of the builders who was carving a tiny little bird on the top of a beam that was going to be covered over by a roof. And it's reported that someone walked up to him and said, "Why are you spending so much time on something no one is ever going to see?" And it's reported that the man said, "Because God sees." They trusted that God saw everything. They showed up day after day on a mammoth job for a building they would never see finished. Some of these cathedrals took over 100 years to build. It's more than one working man's lifetime. But day after day, personal sacrifices. From installing the stained glass windows that you can still see today, to the tiny carvings of the birds on the beams that you can't. Day after day, they would go in and work on a building their name would never be on. A writer went on to say that no great cathedral will ever be built again because no one is willing to sacrifice themselves to that extent. I close the book, and it's as if I heard God say, "I see you. You're not invisible to me. No sacrifice you make is too small for me to notice. I see every cupcake you bake. I see every sequin you sew on, and I smile over every one. I see every tear that rolls down your face in disappointment when things don't go the way you want them to go. Remember, you are building a great cathedral, and it won't be ready in your lifetime. And sadly, you'll never get to live there. But if you build it right, and if you build it well, I will. My invisibility has always felt like an affliction to me, but it's not really a disease that's sent to destroy my life. It's the cure to the disease of my self-centeredness. It's the antidote to my own pride. We're not meant to see. We're not meant to know. I don't want my daughter to come home from college with her friend and say, "You're not going to believe what my mother does. She wakes up at 4 a.m. and bakes pies and bastes the turkey and she hand cuts all the vegetables and then she presses all the linens." No, 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 no. No. Even if I did those things, that's not what I want her to say. I want her to want to come home. I want her to tell her friends, "You're going to love it there. You're going to love it there." They aren't meant to see. They aren't meant to know. I pray that the cathedrals that we build in our life stand the test of time, but more importantly, they stand true to a great, amazing God who sees us.